All right, excellent. So, can you guys see my screen now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good now. All right, excellent. Well, thank you guys for joining this training from Droppy, and I hope that it's going to be very useful for you guys on basically how to generate leads, how to handle rejections from possible customers. All right. So before we get started, I've been meaning to ask all of the sellers in Droppy if you guys are familiar with the 7 simple steps that you should follow to get started with Droppy. Christopher, do you remember what are those 7 simple steps?
Well, first you have to sign up, right?
Right, correct. That's the easy one.
And you have to pay the $149. And then I'm not sure about the other 5 of them. I don't know the rest of them.
I'll give you a little bit of a review, right? Because this step is what is actually gonna help you get started with sales and get your business started, right? And I think that many of the online sellers that are in Droppy right now, they haven't been following these steps, and that's what's holding them back, right? So step number 1, like you mentioned, is to sign up for Droppy, pay the platform fee, right? After that, you should choose around 2 or 3 products that you are passionate about or you have something in common and you want to focus on selling, right? After that, you set your goals and create your working schedule. You got to work closely with your mentor or whoever is the person that brought you to Droppy, and they will give you the support that you need to get these your goals and your schedule, right? After that, you should make a list of people who you would like to either sell to or partner up with. Right now, this is very important. This is what's actually gonna get that ball rolling. All right, because at the beginning, when we're starting our business, it's important that we rely on our network, right, to get things started. And then after that, as you grow, the goal is for you to build 20 loyal customers who will then buy from you continuously, right? Now, there's no specific time frame. This can take a few weeks, take a few months, right? It depends on how much time you dedicate to getting your business started. Then after that, you expand by building your own team of online sellers. And last, to be active in participating in training programs to help you improve your knowledge and your capacity, just like this training, right? So these are the 7 simple steps that every seller should be following with Droppy. Now, today we're going to talk about how to generate leads. All right. Now, Christopher, since you're here, one of the sellers here, other than selling products, which we know that we can do with Droppy, what else can we sell other than the products available?
We can sell a business. We sell a business to them.
Exactly. We can sell them the opportunity for them to start their business, right? We're not just selling the products, but we're also selling Droppy as a platform. And what are the benefits for them to get their own business started? So I think that sometimes sellers in Droppy, they forget about this, that you can sell products, but you can also tell people about Droppy and how they can get their business started, right? So today, we're going to talk about how to generate leads, but you have to understand what is it that you're selling, right? So we're going to talk about 2 different things or how to choose different leads, one for focusing on selling products while the other on selling the platform itself. All right, so first, sorry, I skipped this one. So how to generate leads. So before, the marketing part of the business used to be a little bit shorter. right? The sales or closing the sales was what used to take a lot of time. However, nowadays with technology and e-commerce, the marketing is what actually does a lot of the legwork for you. And closing the sales is actually the last small part of the transaction. So we should definitely take into account how important marketing is for our businesses, right? We have to gather awareness from people. We have to get their interest in whatever it is that we're selling. They will have time to consider it, have some intent. That they will evaluate or consider other options, and last, they will complete the purchase. This brings me to the marketing aspect and how important it is for us to do marketing to grow our online business. The clients are not going to come to ourselves, right? Just by doing nothing. So, oh, sorry, I'm going back. So, lead generation marketing, right? What are the different ways that we can generate leads online? First is by creating content. There are people that they use email marketing strategies that can also be effective. Definitely using ads and retargeting people. As you mentioned, for example, you can start a blog. You can use social media to try to find more leads. You can offer product trials, right? And definitely referral marketing, right? All of these strategies will help you to generate more leads for your business. So in here, I have an example about my own social media and my business page. And I am growing my audience because I'm trying to give them value before I present them with an opportunity to either buy products or start their own business. Now on the left side, you can just see just my example of my profile of my business page. On the right side, however, you can see I'm trying to use some advertising, right, to generate more leads, to drive more traffic into my business page. All right. So these are some of the strategies that you can do, whether you want to use advertising, and we already had a training on that from Eileen, but you can use targeted audience advertising to start selling products using social media. It doesn't matter which platform you use, whether it's TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, etc. But you can always use ads to generate more leads. Now, of course, we also have our affiliate link. The affiliate link is a very, very powerful tool. You mentioned that you started using micro influencers, right? And there are different ways how you can partner up with influencers for them to share your affiliate link. But that is another strategy how you can find more leads for your own business. Okay, let's move on. So now I always say that sales is a numbers game, right? There's nothing very scientific. The more people you approach, naturally, the more sales that you're going to be able to make, right? Now, in marketing, we always use the word leads. What are leads? Can anyone tell me an example? Or what are the different types of leads that are in the market?
You have your email leads, like if you can get leads through emails,
Yeah,
email lists and things like that. You can get leads by people commenting or being on your social media. Like if they comment on your post, you might want to follow up with that person. That person may be a lead.
correct.
You might talk to people around. You might have a product on you, and you share that with a friend, and that friend will now be a lead for you. And
All
so
right.
that's
I'm happy with all of those examples that you just mentioned because I'm going to use them very shortly. Yes, there are different kinds of leads or different types of leads. For example, you mentioned about sending out emails, right? You can send mass emails to thousands of people using using different programs, right? To try to give exposure to your brand or to your product or whatever it is that you're selling. Now, what type of lead would that be? Where you're just sending a bunch of emails hoping to catch people. How likely do you think, or what percentage of people do you think might actually answer those emails or click on those emails and go to your business page and buy a product? Do you think
Probably
it's going
1
to
to 2%.
1 or 2%?
Yeah.
Correct. Now that's I mean, maybe even smaller than that, right? We don't know, but it's definitely going to be a small percentage. And that type of lead has a name, right? And that's what I was getting into. So there are three main types of leads. We've got hot leads, warm leads, and cold leads. Now, naturally, with sending emails, you are the one that is trying to contact the lead, right? They are unfamiliar with your business. They are unfamiliar with the solution that you have for them. And there has been no prior interaction with your brand or your team before. So naturally, when you contact them, it's a little bit difficult to get a response from them, right? But that is how all the leads start. Now, warm leads, on the other hand, they have already expressed some kind of interest into your product or your service, right? And they're very receptive about what you're offering. Hot leads are qualified, sales-ready leads. This means that these leads, they are ready to make a purchase, or perhaps they already made a purchase from you or your brand before, right? Now, I'm going to talk about the differences between these type of leads, right? So the cold leads, right? They don't have any interest in your product or your service, right? It's a very few chances of you closing the deal, right? So it's a lot of effort, and you have to reach a very high volume so that you can close on that 1% or 0.5% and get some conversions, right? And you cannot call them qualified leads, of course. Now, warm leads, they have a deep interest in your product or your service, right? You have high chances of closing the deal, and these leads are very qualified to make purchases. And as I mentioned already, the hot leads, it's basically someone that is already ready to make a purchase, right? So you just need to keep nurturing them and providing them with more information so that you can keep on making more sales. All right. So that brings me to the next point. So if we're trying to find leads, all right, what would be the best way other than the email marketing and social media, right? And we mentioned about paid advertising, right? Now, I am not an expert in marketing. I don't have any background in digital marketing or anything like that. However, social media platforms make it very easy for anyone to pay for ads to get more interactions, to get more views, etc. The problem with that is if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't have any experience, chances are you're going to be wasting a lot of your money and not being very effective and not showing results. Thankfully, Droppy has a solution for that, because instead of you doing all of that by yourself, Droppy has its own marketing team, and they will find leads for you. All right. Now they will put all the campaigns, they will do all the advertising, all the digital content for you, and they will sell packages for you to buy in the form of phone numbers. So in an essence, Droppy does all of the hard work, all of the legwork to find the leads. They organize them, and they serve them to you on a silver platter, right? Now, these are not cold leads, because when you sign up for Droppy and you leave your contact information, you leave your name, you leave your email and your phone number, etc., that means that that lead is a warm lead. Christopher, do you remember how was your first interaction with Droppy?
It was kind of awkward at first, but then I just kind of got into it because I had nothing else better to do, and so I'm here now, and I'm trying to make the best of it. But it was awkward getting into it. And you guys are just starting out with your new products, your new companies, and it's all new United States stuff. So I'm just trying to get involved in the new area here.
Right. And do you remember when was the first time that you learned about Droppy? Was it through a video or an ad or
Yeah, I
someone
probably clicked
recommended you?
something on like Instagram, stuff like that. Probably I clicked an Instagram post.
Right. So that ad, whatever you saw, it got your interest, right? And then it sent you to a form where you left your contact information so that someone could contact you, right? So that means that you were a warm lead. And by the time whoever contacted you, you already had an idea about Droppy. You more or less knew what the business was about, right? Etc. So this is exactly what Droppy does. And that is what allows Droppy to grow exponentially in different markets. All right. So on the right side, you can see that there are different packages that you can choose to buy. So the smallest package, the silver package, costs around $350. Then there's one for $700, and then one for $1,400. Now these packages, what they do is they will give you warm leads. All right. Approximately, they will give you the silver package about 50 leads, and then the other one 100 leads, and then the top one around 200 leads, right? And this is what is going to allow you to start growing your team of online sellers a lot faster. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, I don't know if I want to invest $350 or $700 because maybe to you it sounds risky, right? And like I mentioned, you don't want to be wasting your money. But the best advantage is that Droppy has something that will prevent that financial risk. All right. So for example, in here, let's say that you buy the $700 package. All right. And on the right side, this is what is going to start looking on your profile. You're going to start receiving phone numbers of people that are interested in Droppy. Your main task would be for you to contact those leads and then explain to them about Droppy's platforms and the benefits and how Droppy is a good opportunity for people who are looking to start a second source of income. All right. Now, Droppy has something called zero cost marketing. Now, if you follow the trainings and the guidance from Droppy, you should be able to reach a 6% conversion rate. That means out of 100 leads, you should be able to convert about 6 of them. All right. And I made a typo there. It should be 6% on the second one. But if you are able to reach a 6% conversion rate, then you will recover your initial marketing investment, right? So this is why Droppy reduces risk for online sellers, right? Now, something to remember is that for each person that you refer and they join Droppy, you receive a referral bonus of $119, right? So for the purpose of this example, I rounded up to $120 just to make the math easier, okay? So the zero cost marketing says, if you're able to reach a 6% conversion, you will get your money back, all right? So let's go with the first example, the first package, the silver package. Let's say that you spend $350. That will give you 50 leads, all right? 6% conversion, it's 3 leads. That means when you contact 50 people, if you're able to convert 3 people to join Droppy, then you should break even. And if you look at the numbers in there, 3 leads, when you multiply it times the referral bonus, which is 120 in this example, gives you $360. However, if we subtract your initial investment of $350, you're left with $10. Now you might be asking yourself, well, if I have to contact 50 people and I only get 3 leads converted and all I get is $10, why would I do that? It sounds like an awful amount of work for not that much benefits. Well, the thing is, you're focusing on growing your team of online sellers. The main objective of the zero cost marketing is for you to start growing your team of online sellers so that you can produce more sales. The main goal is not for you to get money out of this, right? However, if we look at the right side, I put in another example. Let's say that you're very confident and you've practiced enough, you follow Droppy's training, and you're really good at explaining Droppy's business model to other people. You're able to showcase what are the benefits of Droppy and how you can start your own business. So bear with me. Let's say, same example, you make a $350 investment, you get 50 leads, but this time your conversion rate increases to 10%. That means you're going to get 5 leads. If you do the math, 120 times 5, it's $600, minus your initial investment, you could be left with an extra amount of money of $250, plus you would have 5 new members into your team. And remember, the larger your group or your team is, the bigger the amount of passive income you're going to be able to generate in the long term. All right? So this is an example of how the zero cost marketing works with Droppy. All right? And if you're afraid of making that investment, right, or that commitment to get leads, I hope that this gives you some encouragement for you to try it. First, you must get the trainings from your mentor or whoever brought you to Droppy, and they will make you practice a lot of phone calls before you actually start purchasing your own data. Does that make sense? Are there any questions from these tables? I want to make sure that it's very, very clear with the numbers and the ultimate goal, which is to start growing your team. No? All right, very well. All right, before I move on with from this, Christopher, were you there, I believe about a week ago when we had the all hands meeting?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. If you attended that meeting, then you understand a little bit about the compensation plan, right? And the different levels that we have. We have the 1-star, 2-star, and 3-star levels, right?
Yes.
All of these is correlated, right? The larger your group is, the more sales your team will make, and therefore the more commissions you will potentially earn as well. All right. All right, if there are no further questions, then I will move on from this. So the next part, or the second part of this training, is how to handle rejections. Well, we already covered how you can get new leads, right? Now, when you're making those phone calls, you're going to face a lot of rejections. That is why we're setting a very realistic goal of a 6% conversion. All right. Now you're gonna get rejections such as, you know what? I lost my interest. I don't want to hear about it anymore. Or can you please send me more information? Can you send it to my email? Or I need to talk to my wife, or I need to speak to my husband before I can make that decision. I don't see the need for your service. Or the most common one is, oh, the platform fee is too expensive, or I don't have money for that, right? Etc. So there will be a lot of different rejections that you're gonna have to face. Now, like I mentioned before, sales is a numbers game, and not everyone will actually put in the work to get their own business started. Starting a business is not easy. It takes time, it takes a lot of effort, it takes dedication, right? So don't be afraid to let some people go. Make your best pitch, explain Droppy's business to the best of your ability, try to handle all of the rejections, and even after all that, if they're not the right match for Droppy, then don't be afraid to let them go, right? Now, try to focus on the value that Droppy has for them. Remember, these are warm leads. They left their contact information because they wanted to learn more about Droppy, right? If they left their contact information, there is already interest into what Droppy has to offer. So make sure that you're sell the problem that you're solving, not the product or the service. In this case, how can Droppy benefit them? What is the benefit of Droppy besides the monetary compensation and the money they can earn? Droppy can help them achieve a second source of income, right? So that they can pay for expenses. Droppy can allow them to also generate passive income. Droppy has the ability for anyone to start their business from anywhere. You're not restricted by having to go to the office to get your business started. Not to mention the 4 no's. There's no capital, there's no inventory, there's no logistics, and they don't even need to have any experience to get started. So make sure that when you're selling Droppy and the benefits of the platform, you focus on the value that Droppy will give to them. All right. So again, what are some of the most common sales objections? So let's start with one of the most common ones. All right. It's too expensive. Now, before I tell you how to handle that objection, I want to get some of your inputs or some of your answers. How would you handle that objection? If you call a lead, right? You tell them about Droppy, you tell them about the platform fee, and they say, oh, you know what? I think the platform fee is too expensive. What would you say to that lead? Anyone? Don't be shy. Christopher, what would you say to someone that they tell you that the platform fee is too expensive?
I would say it's lower than most the fees to get into businesses. It's a very low startup fee as far as getting all the companies that you're associated with.
Correct. So you can make a comparison, right? About the different opportunities that are out there in the market. Michael says, focus on the opportunity, right? You can't really start any business for less, right? So any business, it doesn't matter what it is, it's going to require some kind of money to get started. Now, the ability to start your business with Droppy is that after you made that one-time platform fee, you don't need to invest more capital to buy products in advance, right? You're gonna have support from the platform, from the community, from your mentors. You're gonna get free trainings, right? So we always want to focus on the value, not on the price. And you also want to reiterate this story, or sorry, you want to reiterate that they left their contact information because they're interested in starting their business, right? I got a few messages in here. The price versus value, the bike story from Zig Ziglar. I don't know that story, Nicole. Do you want to share that story?
Sure. It's essentially Zig Ziglar talks about this in this book that he wrote. And it goes through this guy who was buying a bike for his son. And he went out, and there was at the time, it was back in the day, so it was a lot more expensive, but it was $60 for a good bike. And it was only $20 for one that was kind of, crappier and cheaper. And so he didn't want to spend the 60, so he went with the $20 bike. Well, started breaking down, so he needed to put repairs into it, and the price kept creeping higher and higher as he was repairing it. And then his son only rode the bike for about a year before he just gave up and ended up going to buy the more expensive bike anyway. And then his son ended up riding that bike for 10 years. So when you split the cost over the amount of use that was, how much the bike was actually used, the more expensive sticker price had more value over the time than the cheaper one, where the price ended up even being higher because of the repairs, and the value was lower because he only used it for the year.
Correct. That is a very, very good example about price versus value. It's very, very funny because this story, exactly like that, basically happened to me over the last 3 days. I've been researching about which laptop I want to buy, and countless of options in Amazon or in Dell, whatever you want, right? So I like to do my research about what are the best options I have, considering my budget as well. And I have a very, very similar story because I was in between two different options, and the main deciding factor was the price, basically. One of them was actually brand new, from this year, like 2023, while the other one was a 2022 computer, but it was a refurbished computer. However, the older model had higher specs. It was a little more powerful, a little bit faster. But anyways, the short story is I decided to go with the more expensive laptop, which is gonna cost me around $900 or something like that. It's a big investment. The other one was only around $600, so considerably lower, cheaper. But I went with the more expensive laptop because I know the value of having a new laptop. If I have any problems, I can always go to Dell, and I don't have to, be struggling with a used laptop and an older model as well. So I also read somewhere, if you're thinking about making a purchase and it's a large purchase, consider how many times you're going to be using that item, that product, right? So in the example they say that they were going to use that product every day, right? So if you're going to be using that product, let's say I'm going to be using that product every day for at least the next 3 years, that is almost like if I'm paying $1 per day to use my new laptop. And then that way, the purchase, it makes sense to me, right? So anyways, we want to focus on the value. What does Droppy have to offer, right? And how they can start their business. Mike says, give them ideas how to earn money so that they can easily cover the investment, right? And get much more than the actual cost. So the cost of joining Droppy is $149. Now, other than the value and how quickly they can recover the cost, just by bringing a new seller, they will get the referral bonus of $119. That essentially covers 80% of their investment. It's that easy to recover 80% of the cost to join Drop.me. Not to mention the possibilities to earn a lot more money by making sales, right? So let's move on to another rejection, all right? So let's say another one that says, I am not interested anymore. I've encountered this very frequently. And sometimes I don't understand why people would leave their information just to lose interest after 1 or 2 days, right? However, you have to try to dig deeper as to why are they not interested anymore? Or was it something in your pitch when you explained Droppy, right? Because at one point, they willingly left their contact information. So there was interest. So you just need to regain that interest that has been lost in that time frame, right? So again, try to ask them what happened or why did they lose their interest? Did they find another business opportunity perhaps, etc. So sometimes we have to be a little bit aggressive and push for answers, right? To try to reel them back in and get their interest, right? Another classic rejection is I need to speak to my partner first. I need to talk to my wife. I need to talk to my husband, right? So you always want to give your lead some space, right? You want to be understanding, right? You can say something like, yes, I definitely understand that making a business decision, it's important for you to consider your partner. You can go ahead and talk to your partner, but I would like to ask you, what do you think your partner would say about this opportunity? Right? Is your partner also interested in starting a business? Right? Is your partner also interested in getting a second source of income or getting passive income? Right? So try to always reel them back into the value that Droppy has to offer for them. All right. Now, I don't want to get too long and stuck in this. There's always going to be a lot of rejections, but the more you practice, the more you will find a solution for all of the rejections. I always see a rejection as an opportunity, all right, to test myself and to always find the reason why they should stay with Droppy and why they should start their business with Droppy. So I'm going to move on from this because there are some other things that, because there are some other things that I want to cover. Now, we've got very frequently asked questions, right? Such as, is Droppy an MLM company? That's a very popular question that we receive. And the answer must be a very clear no. Droppy is not an MLM company. Droppy prevents anti-dumping, making sure that suppliers have a fixed standard retail price. Sellers, they cannot buy in bulk and then sell to each other, right? The commission structure of Droppy also prevents a pyramid scheme. Not to mention that we are focusing on doing drop shipping. Droppy does not own any of the products that we're selling, like the other MLM companies. And we also do affiliate marketing, right? So we have so many different ways for people to start making sales, right? And our business is nothing like an MLM company where the people at the top are the ones that get all the benefits while the people at the bottom, they get nothing. Now, are there any risks when joining Droppy, right? As I mentioned, with the 4 no's, the risk the online sellers get is minimum, right? Aside from the platform fee, there are basically no risks other than the time that the sellers put into their business, right? Do I need to hit a certain number of sales each month to stay as an active seller. There's no minimum sales required, all right? How many products am I able to sell? The online sellers, they can choose to sell 2 products, 5 products, 20 products, as many products as they want. But we recommend online sellers to start by choosing 2 or 3 sellers, 2 or 3 products that they can focus on selling. How can I know if the product I sell is good? Well, the sellers sometimes can receive free samples from the suppliers depending on the availability, right? But it is always a good idea for you to make a purchase and try the product yourself so that you're satisfied with the quality. Now, Droppy makes sure that all of the products that are in Droppy's platform have very high quality standards. That is probably the main criteria when incorporating new products into the platform. We want to make sure that the quality of the products that the online sellers are selling is very high, therefore creating loyalty and trust from their customers. Okay. Does Droppy import products to local markets? So as of right now, Droppy does not do that. But in the long run, we will have different products from other markets, from let's say Droppy in Vietnam. In the future, we might be able to get other products into Droppy US, right? What if there's a product I want to sell, but Droppy does not supply it? Well, sellers, they can recommend Droppy a product. And if they can find a supplier, then they can put them in contact with Droppy and see if they're suitable to join the platform. All right. The rest are questions that are not completely related to rejections. But I hope that this training helps you guys to handle rejections and also gives you an idea on how to generate more leads for your business. All right. So as a summary, remember, we have to attract leads, right? Through advertising or marketing in general, right? After that, we convert visitors into potential leads. We nurture them, we take care of them, we provide them with more information. And when we are ready to make either a product sale or to sell them on Droppy's platform, and then the last step will be to make the sale, to close the sale. All right, that concludes my training for today. Are there any questions or comments, concerns?
No questions for me. Good job, Alex, though. That was very useful.
Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. All right. If there are no further questions, then I believe that we can stop this training. Thank you, everyone, for joining today and for being active. And we'll see you guys next week. All right.